So, we ended our last episode with a bit of a cliffhanger, didn't we? We told you Satpura is the only national park in India that organizes this one special activity, and we just had to do it. We booked a slot for the afternoon, and after a quick lunch, we headed back across the reservoir in a boat to set foot into the forest. So, what's the big secret? Well, you get to walk. This national park allows a proper walking safari. Now, a few other parks like Pench and Kanha do offer walking safaris, but they're often in the buffer zones. Here in Satpura, you get to trek right through the core area, a whole different ball game where even tiger sightings are possible. Our only defense? Two forest officials armed with sticks. Yep, sticks. Very reassuring. Almost immediately, our naturalist, who shared our love for tiny critters, found the day's first challenge. He pointed at what looked like a completely ordinary twig and whispered, "Right there." Alright, here's a challenge for you, all watching. Can you spot the star? Try harder. He's right there. Still no? Time to visit an eye doctor. Don't worry, nobody can at first. It is the Indian stick insect. Seriously, if camouflage has a PhD, this guy has a double PhD in it. And they're not just masters of disguise, they're method actors. Did you know they'll often sway back and forth to perfectly mimic a real twig moving in the breeze? And if that's not enough, some can even shed a leg to escape a predator and just grow it back later. Talk about a neat party trick. Then this guy, probably a master in camouflage, decided to give us some snapping time. Soon, it became a camouflage competition. "Now beat this stick insect," said this other creature. We are not even sure if it is a locust. It was so well hidden that Google Lens says it is a fungus formation on the tree bark, despite me saying it's an insect. But Google Uncle refused. While we were deep in that debate, we heard it. The sound you always want to hear on a safari. A warning call from one of the langurs up in the trees. The forest officials got alert and said it was likely a leopard, as this is their territory. They quickly exchanged notes with another party who were on a walk in another direction, but it went on to become a false alarm. Phew! Just as we were relaxing, thinking the big stuff was avoiding us, a sloth bear just shows up on our walking path. Luckily, he seemed more scared of us and made a quick retreat into the thicker part of the jungle. It's probably a good thing, because despite their shaggy, almost cuddly appearance, sloth bears can be notoriously grumpy. They're built for digging up termite mounds, not for speed, so their first line of defense is often a good offense. Our official thought we could get a closer look and went around the bushes, but the bear decided that one cameo appearance. That was all we were getting. With a memorable experience of camouflage and a fleeting sloth bear, we headed back to our resort, with seeds clinging to our pants as souvenirs. So, are we done with Satpura? Not by a long shot. Before checking out the next day, we had one more adventure planned, a boat safari on the reservoir. We were told another long-distance traveler, a real miracle of migration, visits this area. Now, do you remember those incredible demoiselle cranes we saw back in Jamba village? If you haven't seen that episode, you should definitely check it out. Well, how could anything top that experience? We were about to find out. bright and early the next morning in the pretty chill November weather, with a mild mist covering the water, we set out in search of the ever beautiful bar-headed goose. At first, all we got was some blurry bomb shots of a couple of them flying away, and we thought, yes, that's them. But our first clear sighting revealed, well, it wasn't the bar-headed goose at all, but a very similar and equally cool bird, the Brahmani duck. They're these really striking rusty orange ducks with a creamy white head, and fun fact, in Indian folklore, they're often seen as symbols of eternal love, as they are almost always found in pairs. We both kind of looked at each other, probably while in the middle of a silent argument about who forgot to charge the camera batteries, and thought, yep, eternal love, that's us. So, after getting completely sidetracked by these devoted couples, our hope for finding our actual main target was starting to fade a little bit. But then, soon after, we saw a whole bunch of them, the real deal, the bar-headed geese, showing off their beautiful banded faces. It was worth the hype. They are so striking and clean looking. They're mostly pale grey with a crisp white head, and then they have these two perfect black bars on the back of it. It looks exactly like they're all wearing one of those old school double striped sweatbands from an 80s workout video. You know, like a sweat wristband but for your head. It's so bold and in your face. It's basically the bird equivalent of high beam headlights on a car. And maybe they need that look. I mean, when you're tough enough to fly over Mount Everest, you've earned the right to wear a sporty sweatband. And these guys are serious contenders for the world's toughest travelers. They are famous for being one of the highest flying birds on the planet. So, we found a nice spot to park the boat near the shore to dig into the hearty breakfast the resort had packed for us. As we settled in, a common kingfisher, patiently waiting for his own breakfast, gave us a great snapshot in the golden hour lighting. We weren't the only ones with a morning catch either. A bird of prey gave us some company from a nearby tree. It looked a bit like a sparrowhawk from one angle, maybe a shikra from another. We'll let you bird experts in the audience make the final call on this one. And just as we were exchanging bon appetit with the birds, our boat driver's tone suddenly changed. Bear, he said. And just like that, breakfast was forgotten. He sped the boat up, changing the whole mood. Our eyes peeled towards the direction he pointed. Yes, Lady Luck had decided to take a boat ride with us. This time, two young sloth bears were walking close to the water, but they vanished before we could get a good clear shot. A bit disappointed, we thought we'd missed our chance. But who decides to reappear right then? Our furry friends. They came back for a closer look, sniffing the air. And you know what they were likely looking for? Termites and ants. Sloth bears are total insect-eating specialists. They have these huge, powerful claws to rip open mounds, and they make this crazy loud sucking noise to hoover up the insects inside, like a furry vacuum cleaner. And one of them gave us the perfect head-on pose. The jungle has a funny sense of timing. With that incredible memory, we headed back to our resort. We checked out and got ready to head to our next safari-heavy destination, Fetch. See you in the next episode.